Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this dismal Pacific Northwest day. It's windy and rainy, but everything else is going great.
It's a great day for pairing snakes.
It
Absolutely.
is. It is absolutely. Uh, it's definitely these past couple days. Yeah, they're definitely working in there. They're working, which is good because a lot of those boys weren't working last year. So please get to work this year. You know, that's all
I
good.
spent my morning. Kurt had to work, so Kurt put me on big clean snakes and pair snakes duty, which was my first time really using Husbandry Pro for figuring out the pairings all by myself. And I did it. Because usually Kurt goes, look in Husbandry Pro and figure out who needs to go together. And then I just go, so and so, Kurt, who goes with so and so? And then wait until he gives in and just tells me who goes with so and so. But today I had to do it all by myself. And I did it successfully.
There you go.
Put on the big girl pants, and she went right in there and
Like
just
what?
hammered it out.
8 snakes, I think. Did it.
Yeah,
Let me,
it's
I have a question. I don't since I don't have Husbandry Pro. Just out of curiosity, does it have a similar function as as the morph calculator? Like, can you plug in different males and females, and then it'll give you an average, or one male and a bunch of females, and give you, the averages or the percentages of things?
Does it do that?
yes.
I
So
didn't
it
know
and
that.
it gives it in multiple forms. So it gives you a pundit. I believe it's called the pundit square,
And then,
and it gives you the morph calculator genetic breakdown style as well.
okay,
Um,
I was just
I
curious.
learned something new.
and so once you set up your breeding plan is when you have access to view that, so you can view your percentages and outcomes and all that good stuff.
Okay. I was
I
just
didn't know that.
curious. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool. It's because like things like that I would find really really helpful. Like, click a button. All of my animals are in there. It's almost like click a button. Tell me who should go with who. Like, almost like let it auto do it, and then be like,
That would be
ooh,
really
that's
cool too.
interesting. I would like that. Like, take the entire thing, hit a button, it does a whatever it does, and then it shits out a bunch of odds, and you're like, oh, I like that. I want to make that. I didn't even realize I had that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like a chopping block, but automatic.
No, but here, let
Yeah.
me show you. Let's see. Okay, we don't do this very often. Let's see if we can figure out how to share this screen, and I'll show you how fun it is when you do your breeding plans. Okay, I might accidentally share the wrong button, people, so just bear with me. Is that the right button? I want a
uh,
tab.
I don't know.
I got it. I'm figuring it out. Can you see it?
There we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see it.
Okay, so here's what's really cool because now I can't see you. So if something goes haywire, you have to tell me. But like you click our breeding plans, and you click view, and then it has all of our snakes. And then what's really fun is like some. This is Kurt's really fun name here, Mojo Jojo. It's just fun to say.
Yeah, Angel, we were talking about Powerpuff Girls, and I needed a name for a snake, so I just called him Mojo
His
Jojo.
name is Mojo
Yeah, so
It's
Jojo.
the
we
best
watch.
name ever.
We love Power, like Mojo Jojo, him, all those
It's just
characters.
really fun to say. But then once you have them in here, instead of like looking at all your sticky notes, you have it right here, and it tells you when the last time. See, like it tells you when the last time they were paired was, so I knew like who I needed to grab today to put together. So Loretta went in there, and
The last
or
follicle size.
Mojo Jojo
And
went
now,
in
if you
there.
go over here and you click this genet or the DNA left,
Nellie is
yeah.
going crazy.
So if you click that,
Okay.
it'll show.
Good Lord. Hold on. The Frenchie is bulldogging.
So that's
Ta-da!
that's your outcomes.
All right, cool.
Well, there you are. The more you know. So anyway, that's that for that. So that was fun. And then by the time I was done, I figured out how to do it in a more easy, streamlined way. But usually it takes fumbling through. So I told Kurt I want him to teach me nothing with it. He just I say, tell me what you want me to do, and I will fumble my way through it so I can learn like everybody else. And that's why I make my Monday reels about Husbandry Pro, because then I fumbled through it and figured it out.
But it seems
Ta-da!
pretty user friendly for the most
It
part.
is.
you know.
And like Zach said, they're going to streamline some of it so there's not as many different ways to get places. But I'm sure there'll be several ways. Because right now, what I love is Kurt goes, when he feeds snakes, he goes and documents it one way. And I have a different way I like to do it, but they both get the same job done in a fast amount of time. That works.
Yeah, it doesn't really take any longer, especially if people are already documenting and tracking that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of people don't, because at the end of the day, it's not super necessary as long as you have healthy animals and happy animals.
It is fun. So to the people in the chat, we're just hanging out today. So if you have any questions for us, feel free to ask.
Yeah, who's in chat? I can't see. I don't even know.
I'll tell you right now. We've got RO is here.
Go.
And we've got our guest for next week, Will from the Python Portal. Will be joining us next week. And we've got Billy. We've got Mr. Guaps. Always comes and says hello at every one of our expos we go to. And Brian's here from Heathen Hatchery. And then you can't forget James from All City Serpents. Those amazing cupcakes.
Yeah, I'll never forget those things.
Thank goodness we had a
follow the bakery too on Instagram just because I like looking.
Right. And remember, they're not very far away, so we could always put in our orders.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's good stuff. The cakes are really nice.
Keys is here, of course. Thank you, Keys. Always showing us love and support. Let's see. Have to scroll down to someone who's new. Eric is here from Plain Snakes. Mark is here, of course. Mark's always here. Thanks, Mark. Morphic Exotics. Bear with us, guys. This isn't our strong point.
Yeah, we don't do this very often.
Alien Reptiles is here. And then that's all for now. But
we got to send out good thoughts for Elias. He had an allergic reaction to some food.
Oh, that's bad.
Had to go to the hospital.
In the emergency room. It is terrible.
Yeah, so hopefully everything goes well.
Soon.
And have you ever checked out his show, Angel? Snake Cinema?
No.
It's great.
It's a little early.
It is early. It's at 7 a.m. our
but
time.
You can watch it with a coffee.
I'm usually up around that time too, or earlier than that even. But
oh my gosh, it would be right up your alley.
Yeah,
the show
he's doing
is amazing.
best ofs since it's close to the new year. So did best of, or the top 10. His top 10 music albums and artists for the year. And of course the honorable mentions. I almost feel like the honorable mentions are more entertaining just because there's so many wild cards that could end up in there. But overall it was really good. I was at work, so I had 100% focus while I was watching it.
And the next weekend's movies, right?
Yeah, it's movies.
Oh, that's good.
Movies.
I'm a little off on the music stuff. But
movies, movies.
Yeah, I'm on top of all that stuff.
So you can watch that. And then the following week, the last week, I think, is top podcasts that are not reptile related.
Yes.
See? Lots of good stuff going on. Our ASF colonies are starting to grow, which is good, which means you'll have ASF soon.
I need them. I gave up on that rack.
Good. The one that fell?
Right now, that fucking rack is in the yard. The wheels fell off. It's old. Yes, I know, but the fact that it all fell apart the same day, and I was like, I don't give a shit about this thing. I gotta throw this thing away. It's gone. I drug it outside like a dead body and yoked it into the yard.
That sounds like
this thing. I was mad.
That sounds like what we did with our.
It took so much time to try to
No.
Think, and I was like, you know what? I can't right now. I can't. Luckily, I didn't have a whole bunch of grow outs because that's what that was. It was for grow outs. The whole rack was just for grow outs. But luckily, I didn't have that. I only had one bin of grow outs, so I just kind of fed off what was the majority of it, and then I kept back probably 10. I think it was like 3 or 4 males, and then the rest were females. Just because I got to start cycling some of the other older ones out. But I'm just going to go with... I honestly, and I'll ask, if anybody has any suggestions, I just want a big ass tub, like a big tub to throw them all in. Because I don't have a huge collection, so I don't need, tons and tons and tons of grow outs. A bunch of like mediums, small mediums. I don't need a whole bunch of them. I don't have them, and a lot of these they don't want to eat right now as it is anyway because they're too busy breeding or wanting to breed. So I think I'm just gonna get a big fucking tub,
Stock tank or something.
like that, and then just throw a lid on it, and that's it. I don't care anymore. I'm tired. The drawer thing. I know it works really. I know it works amazing with a lot of things, but the way my setup is, unless the entire wall is all, just like an ASF rack or something. I mean, an ARS rack or a Freedom Breeder rack or something for rodents, then it would work. But I'm so glad. I'm happy that thing fell apart. I hated that thing.
Isn't that funny?
But it
The
was
level
functional.
we will go to put up with something just because.
Yeah, and because it worked, I had it. I didn't have to build or buy anything new. I didn't have to do anything. But since it fell apart, now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go make something new now. That's okay. I'm not gonna fight about it.
We haven't done anything with the rodent portion of Husbandry Pro either.
No. The rodent tracking, since we don't really feed frozen thawed, we don't really do it.
Mm.
But if you primarily fed frozen thawed, I think it would come really be a really nice feature because you put in, well, as long as you're documenting each feeding correctly with the correct size, it'll basically tell you when you're getting low on what size of ASFs just by auto feeding.
Oh, because so if you have frozen, you would input how many frozen you had, and then it would
I'd like to know how much you have in the freezer.
Yeah, so if you had like 20 smalls, or and then you had your each snake set to that was eating a small, every time you fed it, it would take one automatically from your inventory.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, like, every now and then I'll have a female rat. You know how they start to deteriorate just a little bit, or they're getting older. And I was, I don't have anything huge for those. I don't have, like a blood or a berm or something to feed out the adults because I just have the ball python or even a boa. But I do have 2 big ass ball pythons, and those girls, they're monsters, and they will take an adult female rat, no problem. I will not give them a jumbo like an adult male, but adult female, and I'll give them one, and like they're good for 2+ weeks. Like they don't even care, and they're older. One, I think she's 10, and the other one, she's probably around 8 years old. And they'll eat an adult female rat, a retired female, and they don't budge. And then they're fine for like almost a month. They could care less. They could care
Craig's
less.
here. Hello, Craig.
What's up, Craig?
I've gotten really excited about the ASFs because, well, I'm not excited because they hate me. But that's just them in general. But I love that when we are done with a colony, when a colony has reached their end, you can take them and go feed them off. Like they're not too big, and that means so much to me because some of our male rats are just so huge. They're like
not everybody got a Dylan down the block like I do.
No, right. We do too. I mean, we just use Dylan.
Just say, here you go, man. Here's some. I have some in there right now, but I had another friend of mine who was taking them, and he had retics, but I haven't really heard from him in a bit, so I'm not really sure what's up, and I don't want to bother anybody, but he was taking them for a while because I was calling Dylan. Dylan's like, I don't need him. He's like, I have a bunch of them too, because he also breeds rodents, so
yeah.
He's gonna get to a point too. So I was giving them to this guy, but I haven't heard from him in a bit. And I mean, I did give him like a garbage bag full last time, so I probably won't hear from him for a bit. But I just don't see myself getting a big snake just for jumbos, just
No, because even that wouldn't really be worth it. Or
with the amount
have to get a few of them.
Yes, and then you'd have even more work.
I know, and then the thing is,
larger poop to clean up.
And if I was gonna get a big snake, it would be a boa. I would get probably a Dumerals, or I would get, a Suriname, or I would get a boa, but you can't feed them that often. You really shouldn't feed boas all that often, and super huge meals are really not that great for them. So I would be sort of in the same situation, you know. So I would be forced to get something like a blood python or something huge. Not that I have a problem with
I was
bloods.
just-
I've bred bloods. I
gonna
love
say-
them. They're fucking great.
So that would just be a shame.
That's because then what's gonna happen? And then I'm gonna start buying bloods, and then what happens? Now I got 6, 7, 8. I know me. I know me way too well. I've done this shit before.
Mm-hmm. We have Santos just dropped in, and Jamie from Professor's Pythons. We're trying to make a hat for Jamie. I'm working on it. I found a place that I think seems good that makes hats with like leather patches on them instead, because our logo's tricky because since it's the rainbow gradient, you go to stitch it, turns into a nightmare. So found a place that does like leather patches on your hat, which are similar to our Velcro ones that are on our bags, which I think would work out really good. Merch is a tricky business.
Yeah, I stay
Wiz
away
is
from
here.
it.
Hey, Wiz.
Yeah,
just
I
stay
feel like hats especially are a slippery slope because even though they might look nice online, when you get it in your hands and start feeling it and wearing it, it just isn't quite right, especially when you do like a patch.
Right.
Yeah, I personally, I mean, I'm not. This is it. I've only ever worn fitted hats. I can't. I don't wear anything else. I just can't.
So Kurt wants us to get a fitted hat for him,
I'm
which means we have to measure his head. I'll pause. That was not a good.
Oh my
I'm gonna
god!
get made fun of for
Wow.
that later, right? Don't do that.
I was slow on the uptake.
You were
there.
slow on the uptake. Let's change the subject quick. Mark says, "How's the Brazilian rainbow boa you picked up doing?" We picked up 2 of them. We got a boy and a girl, and they're doing great. They're crazy little maniacs that love to eat their little ASFs.
Yeah, the boys
So-
become a little bit bitey,
Yeah.
but not too terrible.
I've got to hold him more. We moved them out with the other snakes now. So that means they're just not right behind us anymore here. So we're not, I mean, we go out to the snakes all the time, but when you're out there, it's like business. Go out there, clean, do as much as you can.
Mhm.
So I've got to take them out more and hold them. And they're not like the size that you could take out and like hold while you're cleaning because they're like this big around and fast.
They're
It's all
tiny.
get out.
Yeah,
But they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
I like
Then we
them.
got
I
an
think they're
indigo.
gorgeous.
I love
Yeah.
the indigo. Got to hold the indigo more too, but those are fun to watch move around. Just the way they move seems so different than all the other snakes we have. So they're fun.
Those are quick.
They are. They're
Those
so
are-
quick.
they-
And
those
he has this
are-
little mound built up
Mhm.
in his enclosure. He's got this little fortress built in the back. And then you open it up and he just sticks his little head out and looks at you like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they're
Nothing.
fun, but in my experience, anytime I've ever had to deal with them, I had to clean those cages a lot. They like to paint.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, they like to paint,
Yep.
and it doesn't smell too great. I don't know why, but for some reason when they go, it's gross. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's extra pungent.
Yeah,
it's
this
not,
is a
it's
little
not
extra.
pleasant.
It's definitely a little extra, and if you get it on you,
Yeah. I think we've grown used to that with the king snakes. That one experience with the
Yeah,
king
the
snake
king
at the
snake's
show
musking.
has completely that changed
Mm.
me, and now I think it's okay because that one we got that king snake 2 Januaries ago, and I thought I'm going to be so brave and I'm going to take out this Mexican black king snake that's hardly ever been held, and I'm
And it
gonna
was in
hold it.
shed.
I held it, and it did its job everywhere, and just barely missed Thorin by like that much because he was sitting on the floor by me.
And we're talking full whip. It wasn't a half whip. That was half of her body just flinging that stuff everywhere. Looked like little bits of blue cheese flying everywhere. It was horrible.
It gets.
It was awesome.
when you and it's so hard to wash off your hands. The smell, it's so hard to wash off.
Look, Vance is here. I tuned into Vance's show earlier today. Got to go check out the replay. Got to talk a little bit about breeding plans and what people were doing on their Saturday.
Yeah.
Fun guy to hang out with on a Saturday.
Breeding right now is the snakes, the follicles, they're just growing like crazy right now.
I have a bunch
have-
of like first year girls that are they hunting the males down, and I'm like, okay, I'll let it go.
Yeah, it was really strange. We were ultrasounding, and it was 5 millimeters, which is barely anything. And then within a month, it seems like the majority of our stuff went from 5 to 13.
That's good. How the appetites shoot up.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh,
You
it is
can't even
terrifying.
open a bin without being almost have your arm ripped off at this point.
And they're not just peeking; they're coming full out.
No.
I got them there at the like, you could see them at the lip, the top of the lip, that little gap between the, and you see them with their nose like stuck right in between there. And I'm like, I see you, because I have the semi-clears, so I'm like, I know you're there. I saw you when I walked in. That's why I got semi-clears, because I don't trust you guys. I know.
Right?
I
Yeah.
know you're gonna dart
Which
me.
Ammo Xanthics Jody wrote me today and was like, this is what we do so that I don't get attacked. And it was this really cool idea about using a tote lid that's like the same size as your bin. And you slide it out and then you reach in from the back and grab them. I'm like, well, that's way better than my deli cup I'm using as a shield that's like the size of my face, and you have to find them, and then you have to just hope that you got the right
So
spot.
many different ways. There's so many. When I was working at the pet shop, my boss was like, use the because he had them in fish tanks, and we're going back like, I'm going back to like the 90s.
Yeah.
Fish tank, we would just use the lid. We just take the lid off and then just use the lid to hold them back, and then just kind of scoop them up and put them down. And that was like my first experience of like how to deal with some either aggressive or nervous snakes. Was just use the screen lid, because I could see through the screen, so I could just pick them up. It was really easy. And then then I was at a reptile show. I was at the White Plains show, and Nerd was there. And Kevin McCurley's walking around, and he's got a snake hook in his hand. And I walked up to the table, and they had a whole bunch of them. And they were really cool, because like the handle, the body was actually made from it was made from, I think, repurposed arrows, like carbon fiber arrows. So like the body was this like army fatigue looking carbon fiber arrow, and had a black rubber handle, and then it had the metal hook, and you could like bend and flex. It was really strong, and he was walking around with them. I don't remember, they were probably like 10, 15, 20 bucks. I don't remember how long. And then ever since I got that thing, I was like, oh, I fucking love snake hooks.
Okay, then tell me what you do when you're holding the snake. Like, okay, now do you hold everything with the snake hook when you switch bins? Do you just have another bin ready and you switch them out? Because we have that girl that we got who's named Royal, and she's a royal you-know-what, because she is so huge, and you hold her, and no matter what you do, she can whip her head around, and she just bites the heck out of you. She is like one of those
She got
ones-
Nikki 3 times.
3 times in like 30 seconds.
She's a ball?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
she's vicious. She's beautiful.
She's an
She's
ultra
amazing.
male something. The single gene, or she's got one codom in ultra male.
She's an ultra, you-know-what, and a royal, you-know-what. She's beautiful.
Was she adult?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
She's a
scoop
big
them.
girl.
I just kind of scoop them, pick them up, and then it really depends. It really depends. Fortunately, right now I don't have any big monster pain in the necks. Everybody little is a pain in the neck, but
I'd rather have that.
the big ones. I actually went in there. I took out one the other day, and I forgot that she's normally aggressive, and she was totally cool. She was totally cool. So I don't know what that was about. But for the most part, just kind of scoop them up, and if you're getting that thrashing, just kind of hook them, just put them right in the tub. Because
She's a silent assassin. She does not do any thrashing. She was like,
I'll
she
tell
just
you.
goes from no,
No.
she just goes from like this to like I'm holding her and she's right here. Then all of a sudden she just turns her head around and goes. "Choop."
Yeah, so it was, think of like the upper third of her body
It's
completely hewed in on itself. I mean, it was tight. It wasn't like coming out.
It's nothing I
was just
expected.
whoop, and then got her. And
That's
then
good.
Nikki was like,
Yeah.
oh, she bit me. And I'm like, what? And then I look over and she's going again.
Well, because he was laughing. He was like, "What the heck did you do that she's biting you?" When you normally you tap them on the head and they recoil and then you're good to go. And I tapped her on the head, and no joke, I tapped her on the head and she turned around and went. I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Ow.
So needless to say, I ordered a what looks like a really good semi heavy duty hook from Amazon.
Kurt's trying to save me,
The hook,
and also because it's his job now to handle her.
Because let me tell you what, those ones that extend out, like 4 times, that ain't gonna cut it.
No. You need a solid hook, like the one I don't know if you guys saw it last time you were here. Just have a solid hook. It's probably like 2 feet, like a 2-foot hook, 2.5 feet tops. Make sure it's a solid hook. That's all, and just scoop up. You can hold like the body part, and then just hold the front. You could treat them kind of like an elapid. You could treat them like a cobra if you wanted to. I don't know. I mean, if she's behaving that way, might as well. If you don't want to get nailed, but the more you do it, the more hopefully she'll relax. But I'm a firm believer. Sometimes that's just who they are. Okay, that's just who they are. Because I've had some, and I have one I've had for years. He will tear me apart. I don't know what. There's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. There's nothing
I
I can
just
do
have
about
to believe that her babies are going to be really good eaters when she
Hopefully.
lays her clutch and all goes well. We have to answer this
All right,
question.
which brings us to the perfect spot to come around and answer this.
Okay, so this is Clint from Genetic Fusion Reptiles. Says, did you guys buy your ultrasound from the beginning of your journey or pick one up after a few seasons? Well, Angel does not use an ultrasound. He's a wizard. And
He's got the touch. He can feel it.
he knows things.
I don't even touch him anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, you can just look at them. And Angel knows. And we have to have an ultrasound machine because we're novices. I don't know, because we need it because we can't figure it out. But we didn't have one from the very beginning.
The first season, we didn't have one. We borrowed one.
Yeah. Oh, but we hardly used it. The only time we used one, our first season, was to figure out if an adult was a male or a female. That was it. We had someone help us figure that out. And then after that, well, I guess we did borrow one for a bit.
Yeah.
But we had no idea what we were doing. So it really wasn't effective.
Yeah, and it was one of those old, if you remember like
a bag phone, but a bag ultrasound machine.
I was going to go the old Apple computers that are built into the CVT monitors, and they had different colors, like 3 or 4 different colors.
I remember those.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And it was kind of like trying to watch a polar bear eating a snow cone in an ice, in an ice storm. You really couldn't see much.
So we just went with the old pair them.
Yeah.
Pair them.
But then we went and we decided to spend the $1,200 on sale on the one on Amazon. And it once you adjust some settings, it really picks up. And if you're not like what most people do when they first get an ultrasound and they're not sure what they're doing, and you're thinking every snake has follicles, which you find out pretty quick that it just doesn't happen. You got to trust in that. Okay, there's nothing here. I'm not missing it. I just need to move on.
You'd be like, oh, look at all these follicles. It's all fucking poop.
It's poop.
Right.
Or it's their vertebrae.
Yeah, the vertebrae, the rib bones is certainly, when they're small, you get it confused.
Look at the size of that egg.
But I can tell you, Enigmatic Reptiles.
Enigmatic, yep.
Really helped us figuring out ultrasounding over chat, because he does a really great job and explained it all and told us how to adjust our settings and everything right after we got it. Because I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at, but I see your posts and
yeah. So with our settings now, on some of our snakes, you can pick up the oviduct. You can actually see the strip of oviduct, which is really nice.
I just hold the snakes now. That is my new job. I hold the snakes and I click the button because I just don't have the touch.
And people ask me, and I say I don't have one. I don't use one. It's not that I'm against them. I feel like, I think that if you walk into this and you want to breed and you want to have these guarantees, and you're not really, as experienced, and you want to learn, I think ultrasounds are great. Get an ultrasound. Have someone teach you how to use it, learn all that stuff. Ultrasounds are great. They do help, those first couple of years, especially in the first couple of years when you really want to make sure you get those pairings. Because I think what I learned, what I know, and how I learned it is something that's not as common anymore. So I do suggest, people getting ultrasounds. I learned before ultrasounds were a thing, and I've been doing it ever since. So the way I do things, I can totally teach people the way I learned, but I don't think a lot of people are really interested in learning some of these old school things where you can just get an ultrasound and boop, you're done, and you got your answer right there. So I don't say anything. I don't even encourage it. I just say if an ultrasound, because a lot of people already have it in their head that the ultrasound is the way to go. So then just go that route. If you want to learn some other techniques, I'll be happy to teach you. I'll be happy to show you a lot of wacky shit that I do that works. But for me, the biggest thing I tell people is just learn your collection. Learn the animals. They're gonna tell you what they need. Unless you plan on having a 10,000 animal facility, you're never gonna know your animals. So get yourself an ultrasound if you want to get those locks and you want to be 100%. Or if you just don't have the time, you do want to be part of how you just don't have the time to take with these animals. And I understand that too. Get an ultrasound. But sometimes, I don't know, just watch them. I'm just
Krista says she wants to learn. So now you're going to have to do a video.
Yeah, I'm not doing videos. You can message me.
He's not a video guy.
The reason I don't want to do a video on this shit is because there's going to be too many people going, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's too old. I don't want to give a shit.
Oh, stop.
I'm doing it for 25 years, never used an ultrasound. I never have an issue. And it's not my way is better than anybody else's way. I am just me, and it works for me. So I have no problem showing you my wizardry and how it works.
Elias is tapping in from the emergency room. We're rooting for you, Elias.
Hope everything goes well.
Yes, seriously. Thinking good thoughts.
Yeah, it's not something that's crucial, but I'd say where it really comes in handy having an ultrasound is when you want to do 4, 5, 6 females to 1 male. So you're not just overworking the male, but Darren, he was on Show Us Your Rack last week, and he palpates and he does stuff visually, and he's very successful, same as you. It's not a one size fits all answer. It can be done very successfully without one.
And I thought about getting one. I absolutely thought about getting one just because of male burnout. But I also don't burn out the males too. I try to max, and I mean max, 5 females for that male. And when I mean 5, it's 3 definite and 2 maybe. So if that male is working and he's got that job done, the other 3 and they're shutting down, because you can tell you throw a male in there and there's nobody gives a shit. He's on one side, she's on the other side. Last time I put you guys in, there were locks. You guys, there was activity. Now there's nothing. There's no point in me putting this boy in here anymore. But if he still seems like he's got some juice to let loose, hey, who's number 4?
So you cannot say things like that when I swallow my coffee.
That's the saying of the day. Got the juice to let loose.
I almost spit my coffee out.
I'm just saying, because some males will breed 10 females. They'll eat the whole time. They don't give a shit. And oftentimes, those are your older males. Your big, people oh, the small males. Fuck that, man. Give me a 5-foot male. Throw that boy in a bucket with 10 females. Come back later. They're all fucking knocked up. This is just the way. I mean, I've had some big males that they got the assignment. They got the job done. I'm a fan of big males.
I'm cutting that part for real.
It's
just
okay.
saying it.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Well, I might.
I don't care.
Actually, probably will.
I don't care. But
it was too good. It was funny.
I got plenty of them. I hold them back though because we're live. But But that's just me. A lot of the misconception, like keep your male small. I don't care. I've had males that were almost the same size, if not the same size as females. I had a huge pied male. My first pied, it was huge. That boy he was everywhere. That was that was the dad of the one that you have, the cinnamon head pied. It was
Mhm.
who I think, I don't know. Again, all that the dark coloration
Mhm.
that goes through. I've kind of I want to send the shed test in, right? But I can't send a shed test in and say test this. What am I testing for? I got to give him an idea of what I'm testing for. So, and it's been years with this dark gene just popping up in my collection, and I have animals that don't look normal, but they don't look something else. Like they just look weird. I think it might be chocolate. If it's a known gene, if it's an identifiable gene, it's possibly chocolate because it's the only thing I can think of. It's the closest to what I have that I could find.
Well, that wouldn't be terrible.
I
She
wouldn't be
has her
mad.
boyfriend in with her right now.
Yeah.
She could be chocolate as well. If it's chocolate or whatever that dark gene is that's floating around here, it's possible because I have animals that are adults now. They're so different. They're so different than the other pieds. I have a pied in there. She has a completely dark, like one of the saddles is completely different color than all the others. It's just dark. It's almost like a paradox. I'm not really sure what that is. Um, but whatever this dark gene is, I think if it is, the only thing I can think of is chocolate. And if it's not chocolate, then I have no idea what to test for. But
Well, they're dark.
I've yet to put uh, I've yet to read them together because I haven't. I thought I didn't keep a male back, but I actually realized I do have a male that could possibly be that. Um, so we'll see. And he's weird looking too. He's really weird looking. He's literally just black and white. He's a triple het. He shouldn't be. He's like the black is black and the whites are white. And
Yeah, the thing like with the girl we have is it's like leopard dark with a cinnamon pattern. It's really weird.
I don't know. So we'll see if I get a chance, I might send his shed in too. But I just have so many weird things that I'm not trying to be like, oh, I got this new gene, check out this new gene. Like I'm not doing that shit. Not until it's actually spectacular. Because with my luck, it is chocolate. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I have my own chocolate gene. I made it up myself. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do that.
And we all appreciate you for it.
I just think it's crazy because I remember when everyone's running out. I got a new gene, new gene, new gene, and it's like same shit that everybody else had. There were times.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's
You
exciting.
got to be really diligent. You got to do, you got to do like 6 years worth of work. And
Yeah.
then you come out and say it.
Especially if it's something that is so dramatic, like yellow belly, and you get an ivory. That's dramatic to me.
Kurt's dad's working on something
Oh,
outside,
okay.
I hope. Or no, I know what it is. That's not what it is.
It's the wind.
It's one of our we have holiday blow ups on the porch. Snowman and dogs in a sleigh and such, and one of them is bashing against the window right now. I heard it this morning.
It's the
Forgot about
creepy guy with a hook and one eye.
Tell them to go next
it.
door.
Don't see us next weekend. Now you know what's going on. Speaking of next weekend, we have Will from Python Portal coming on for his first time, and then the week after that, we're having our In Your Circle first ever appreciation show where we have hopefully a whole bunch of people that we appreciate coming on.
You'll mix.
That'll be fun. Be very different from our normal Saturdays. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be chaos. I can't wait.
I know. Tucker's already said he's coming on. Dylan's a maybe if he doesn't have to work.
Yeah, if it isn't enough to work, we'll see. I just talked to him, so we'll see. I might just do it
Craig.
from his house, like that way we can
Yeah.
just minimize the square. Just have one square. Me and
That'd
Dylan
be
just in
great.
the
We'll overwhelm you with the amount of squares we have on the screen that weekend. It's going to be a lot of squares.
So it'll be easier that way, and it gives me an excuse to go over there and look at all the shit. So
Yeah.
Not that I need an excuse. Like the only excuse is
You definitely
being
don't need an
home. I
excuse.
just go over there.
Keys and Wiz will be on there. Mike from Herp Collectors will be on.
Cool.
And Craig. Can't forget Craig. And then it'll be like a drop in, drop out, stay if you want, stay for as long as you want kind of situation. Okay, but Billy, Mr. Guaps, has an ASF breeding question. Go ahead, Billy. We will maybe be able to answer it. And if we can't, someone in the chat or Angel might be able to answer it for us. But Angel, you should have ASFs soonish. So you have to remind me how many ASFs you want.
I'll take out as many
How many
as you got. That way, I want to start swapping it over. I'm just tired of Norwegians. I'm just tired of it.
Angel, guess who's here?
Who's here?
BBM Reptiles.
Hey.
How's it going?
Dude?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
For like the tubs we have over here, the thing that we're upsizing, you know, because we talked to Holly a couple weeks ago, I feel like now, and like when we said that some of our colonies are more like our original colonies, and we built them 1 to 3, so we've got these huge tubs that could accommodate more, and we're just not using them to our full potential. So that's.
But now that we are, oh my gosh, you open the bin and it's babies everywhere. But also a huge part of that is the advice we got from Mike from Herp Collectors.
Right.
Which was I was pulling them too early, and you got to go off of how they look. And his phrase is ears up, eyes open. Ears up, eyes open. So before they're ready, their ears are kind of up, but they're still tipped back a little bit. And they still kind of have you got to wait till they're fully up.
It's like the difference of a day.
Yeah. If you pull them too early, though, they start getting like malnourished, and you start to be able to see their vertebra and their tail.
Happens quick.
And that's when you know things are going wrong quickly. Yeah. And then Keys saved us because he has his mix that he feeds them. And I tell you what, that mix has saved our butts, because you feed that mix to them that he feeds them and that we feed them now. And in 2 days, they'll go from being like, oh, yeah, they're not quite ready to, oh, yeah, they're ready to come out now. There's some of them, it's even like a day. Just crazy. Okay, Billy's question is, how long does it usually take for ASFs to be breeding ready? Finally got 2 tubs from Reptile Basics and another 2, but not until March or June. Well, they take a while to procreate, I'd say.
Yeah, it takes them a while to get going, and
good few months. I
would say at least 2 months.
At least I'd say 3.
And that's once they're adults. It'll take another 2 months or 3 months before they even.
It can take a while, yeah.
It's
like once they start
6 months.
Yeah.
Don't even care until 6 months.
And they kind of follow the same schedule as mice, I feel like, because like mice, it feels like you wait and you wait and you wait for what seems like an eternity, and then all of a sudden you're swimming in mice and African soffers. So I would say definitely.
But the ASFs live longer, don't they? They have a longer, because mice you can't really. I think you get maybe a year out of a mouse tops. A few litters here and there.
Yeah, with the ASFs, what are we trying to run?
So
like
people say
6
optimal
months?
breeding window is 6 months, 6 to 8 months, somewhere in there.
And you'll really be able to tell with them because their litter size it does drop off pretty drastically. I'd say more so than the Norwegians, at least, because their litter sizes are so huge at first, or sometimes their first litter sizes are small, but then they get cooking and they're huge. But they start to look haggard at about 6 months, I want to say.
Yeah.
You'll open it and you don't even have to really keep track of how old they are. You can just look at them and be like, oh yeah,
They're starting to get tired.
you're a little geriatric ASF. It's time for you to go now.
What's your ratio like? What's your male to female ratio for them?
In our tubs that we're running with our Freedom Breeder bins that are like the flat square, and then the new rack that we're getting is going to be really similar. We're running 10 to 1. But in our little, what are they, like vision rack tubs, and our little
Like the
B6 tubs,
mid-size, like
we're
the
running like
18s.
3-to-1.
That's what I was gonna do because I have the
Yeah.
XL cages from Reptile, the same one that Billy probably bought there because I use the XL size, and that's 15 by 20. I think it's 15 by 20, 21 inches by like 7 inches high,
Yeah.
7 inches high. I really like the height of them. You know, a lot of tubs are really low for rodents, but I really those cages to me are pretty much perfect. I think they're perfect for ASFs especially because there's a lot of room in there, and when I used to breed ASFs, that's what I used to have them in. I used to just put a big ton of like bedding in there for them, and they're not really messy. I didn't have to change them nearly as often, not
Mhm.
nearly as often as the Norwegians. Like they were so much easier to take care of, except for the nasty part. Other than that, they were super easy to care for.
Did you use a water bottle or
I
like
used
a,
to use the water bottle with them because I didn't have to worry about it. They weren't like
yep,
water crazy. They're
that's
not
what I
like
would recommend, a water bottle, because the young ones can't, it's like they're not strong enough to push the
The spring loaded.
spring loaded ones. So, and then we found with the Reptile Basic bins is the way the wire goes on top leaves enough gap for them to chew the corners. So you just got to watch that. You have to watch them chewing the corners because their little faces are really good at getting in there, even if you give them something to chew. But also, if you have something heavy, like we put a brick like on the bigger side, so it pushes down on the bars more. So they
Opposite of the food.
otherwise they can push up on the lid a little bit.
Chew in that corner.
Yeah, but the brick saves a lot by pushing the lid so it's flush instead. Because otherwise, no matter how, like, they have the little things that pop down on the side,
For the
but
latch.
each one of them is like slightly different. So on some tubs it'll click really hard, and some tubs it doesn't click quite enough. So a brick.
I
is your extra.
actually all of like how the back part hooks in. You hook it in the back and then you push down, then you snap it down in the front. The lid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? It has those like two little like
Yeah.
Those I just take a pair of pliers and I pinch them down.
Yeah.
Oh,
That works too.
I never even thought of that.
I just squeeze it down a little bit, and that's it. They snap flush. If you just pinch them down, and I do the same thing in the front, because it has those two little bars like this, and it snaps over the lip. So the side part that comes around, I just pinch it on both sides, snap, and it clicks down. All four corners stay flush.
See, that's good.
You just have to be careful when you're squeezing it, because if you squeeze too much, then it's you just
Game
gotta
over.
Be careful, yeah.
Have yours been around for a while?
I do have the older models. I know the new ones come with this little like bottom ridge. Now they have this little like on both sides. They have these two little ridges. The ones I have are before that one, so there are no ridges on there at all.
Yeah, we have the newer ones, probably in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Ours are probably 2 years old. I'll send you a picture. They don't sound the same as yours. They have one latchy thing on each end, unless they've changed since we got them.
Wait, you gotta like snap both sides?
Kind of, yeah, but I'll send you a picture. They leave like the way the bar is around the edge, they should write them. They have the bar, and then there's a gap between the bar and the tubs, so the little buggers can get their little teeth up there.
Which is what we use the brick for.
Which is why we use the brick, yeah.
Because I know they have two models. They have two models. They have the large, and then they have the XL.
Yes.
The XL is the one that I use.
Yep.
Because that one has narrower bars.
And that's what we have too, the extra large ones, right?
So.
Yeah, I believe we do too. And that's what Billy was
asking. In the back, you're supposed to just have two little round parts that kind of hook in, and then you put it down, then you clip. There's only one clip, not two clips.
Yeah. So ours has like, it's all part of like a bar. It's like a clamp now, but it's probably essentially the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'd probably do at least a 1 to 8 in that.
Yeah, you could.
A one.
But unless
depending
Angel
on
doesn't
your
need
needs.
9 million ASFs,
Right.
though.
But like for most efficiency, if you were only going to have limited colonies, I'd try to build them as big as possible.
Because what I want to do is for the most part, do 1.3 in each of those without having to do too much as far as a separate grow out bin. You know, like just pull from these bins. Just continuously pull from the bins, because I don't need monster ones as it is. And any adult
Yeah.
ones, that's fine. As they grow, that's fine. Um,
Just
but-
want an extra one to grow out a
Mhm.
set of colonies for you,
but yeah, that's
which
like,
is what we're doing.
and kind of like overlap.
Like a cycle, yeah.
yeah.
That's where we're at right now. We have the way we have it working is we have like they get pulled and they go into this first bin, and the first bin is like the little maternity baby tub, and they get lots of extra seed, and they have a water and they have a bricks they can get up to the water, and they have their water that they can get to from the water bottle, and then they graduate to the extra large rat breeding tub where they learn to drink water efficiently and
Yep.
eat real food.
And then they spend a week in each of those, and then they get
moved into
their new forever colonies.
and learn to get along. Whatever you do, remember you cannot mix them when they're older.
No.
Don't do
It
it.
is not pretty to
You
watch.
can't even put girls together when they're older. Don't try
No.
that. Don't try
And they could
any of
literally
it.
be siblings that were separated for just a couple weeks, and you put them together, and they will fucking tear each other apart. I
Also-
mean, the bloodbaths are disgusting. Like they,
Yes,
they
if
go
you're-
at it. They go.
If
at
you're
it.
going to like bring like if you feed live, don't put them in a bin with some rats and bring them in together, because even though rats are big, the ASFs are
Super
violent
aggressive.
maniacs, and they will
Super
They will
aggressive.
murder whatever is in the same tub with them if it is not one of them that they know and have gotten along with for a very long while. So learn that. Don't do it. Keep them separated. Separate bins. Don't mix them. Now, the babies, we've had great success taking babies from other colonies and putting them in other colonies. That doesn't matter. But you cannot
I've never
put
done that.
adults
Okay.
with each other. Yeah, we
We've
didn't
had
think
no
you could
choice,
either.
so we're like, we need to see what is going to happen.
We didn't think you could either. And then in the Billy's Patreon, one of the chats, they were talking about how, I think it was help me, Rip City said he takes the babies and puts them in. If they're not doing well, he can put them in with another mom. Totally fine. Works out really well. But
It's that maternal instinct. It's really strong with them.
it's okay, Nelly.
You know, like
Yeah.
rats in general, like their maternal instinct. I mean, we've seen it. They're so strong, or the maternal instinct is so strong. They fight over those babies, and the babies end up getting cut up.
No, the baby ASFs do really well. It's just you can't put any adults with them.
They seem
So.
more durable too. They seem a bit more durable when they're babies than because they got fuzz on them. You know.
Yeah, they can, but you also have to make sure you watch before you pull your weans. That was the trickiest part for us, because we're still learning.
I want to jump up to Andrew's comment about the Billy's tubs. So we were looking into doing the setup that Mutation Creation does for his ASF tubs, and it looks really nice. But
Hold on,
hang on.
just a second.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the
But there was two people.
It's Angel, but
everybody.
there's other people.
you can come say hi to everybody.
Yeah,
real
come
quick.
say hi real quick.
Where are they?
They're in the chat.
hi.
Say hey, chat.
Hi.
Wave to the chat.
Hi, everybody.
There's
Yeah.
only two people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Two people. The sun. There's two people. I'm okay.
sorry, he's stealing the show now.
Yeah.
Oh, so what I was gonna say is the price for us with the reduced shipping, we just decided to get the entire new rack system they have. So it would be the Vision Ultra rack, and I think we got like 36 tubs, and it ended up being less in the long run than putting all the lids and the tubs and the watering together. So we're gonna try that and see how that works out.
Look at this great comment from Morphic Exotics. And this is when we used to have success. We had it was like a mega colony of them together there were grown females and males, but said when they pull ASF, they set them in a grow out tub and add an extra older male, which teaches them to eat and drink. Let's see.
Why is my
Learning
face
from each
getting
other.
in there?
Let's go over there.
Yeah, because they're doing a
Sorry, buddy.
promotionary like shipping thing for the new racks.
Yeah, I saw
So-
that. Yeah.
So it's discounted shipping on anything over, I think it's 79 inches, and everything under 79, they're offering free shipping, and then 20% off all their watering supplies. So it ended up being, for a similar amount of bins, it ended up being less, mainly because of the shipping.
Yeah, I was looking. I like the idea, and it's similar to the way I think it just makes sense to me, because then you could change that you could change all the sizes of the tubs as long as they're the same, height. So it's similar to like the VE, rack in a way. You got the 3 different size tubs. But Vision does that anyway because they have that. They have the same thing. Those Vision tubs, they all, as long as they're the same height, they'll fit in the same rack, on the same shelf, that is.
Yeah, and either way, we were talking with Kevin from A Exotics a while back, and it all ends up working out cost wise for material. Whether it's pretty darn close depending on the style of rack you're building to just buying a rack. It's all relatively the same because you're still having to buy the tubs and the water supplies and the
Yeah,
screws and cloth and.
I ain't building shit ever again. I'm done.
Yeah.
The only thing with Billy's, well, one of the things with Billy's that would be different though is that you wouldn't have to wait for the lead times. Like we have to wait for the lead times on our rack. So, which if you're ordering tubs and just the lids, you wouldn't have to do that.
It would be shipped to you within a week, probably.
I just want a rack. Like I want to eventually. I might switch over to a rack later on because I just want like the breeders on the top grow out like 2, 4, maybe top. I only need like 2, grow out bins on the bottom. That's it. That's all I need, and it would keep everything, in the same spot. That's why I just want one big giant grow out tub that I can just pull from.
Yeah. Well, if none of you are in a hurry to get a new rack, you can let us be the guinea pigs because ours will be here in like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Let us try
middle
it
of
out.
January or end of January.
See if
it
it's
should
any
be here.
good before I buy it. Hopefully it's good. We love our Freedom Breeder rack, and we thought about buying the add-on levels to go on the top or buying a separate additional rack, but we ended up going with that rack instead from Vision, and then we'll eventually get the tubs to go on the top of our Freedom Breeder.
And that's
Yeah,
what I
and
was looking at with Freedom Breeder because you can sort of build your own rack in a way.
Yeah.
So I can get the bigger tubs on the bottom and then so on. But
Well, and if you're not going to have a bunch of colonies, the Freedom Breeder rack, I think, would do the job. We have 10 tubs, and those are
I mean, truthfully, if I'm doing that, again, if I switch over to ASFs and I do the rack, I can't use the taller tubs. The 7-inch tubs, 5-inch tubs, whatever. It's not really good for them. So I would have to do like a combo of like shorter ones here, a couple larger ones, because I still want to have some Norwegians. I only want a few. I don't want so many. And then a part of me is like, I probably, if I could totally get rid of Norwegians, I would. Because again, Dylan's down the road. I can always hit him up or hit somebody else up for rats. It's fine. I've just been self-sufficient for so many years, and I've got it down to like a science. I don't have extra. I'm not over or under. Like I'm good, and this has taken a long time to like not have too many. Oh, I have too many in the freezer. Like that. That's a great problem to have. I'm not saying I'm not complaining about it, but then you have too many rats, and like I don't have enough, and I got to find people to to take them, or I don't have enough, so I didn't breed enough, or I've gotten to a point where I'm very comfortable.
Well, and both racks or both companies, you can mix and match the tubs, right? I know
believe
Freedom
so.
Breeder for sure. I didn't really look into that with Vision, but I'm sure you could do it there too, because we just wanted one bin size.
Yeah, we went with the 35S, which is the 3.5-inch tall bin.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think the rack
like
we
15
picked, you
by
can
20
get 36
by
colonies. Yeah, 15 by 20 by 3.5.
yeah.
36, 36 tubs in it. But yeah, they have like we were saying, they've got the interchangeable levels, so you can do like 2 levels of those, a couple levels of the larger tubs for the Norwegians, a couple maternity tubs if you want. But I think with the rack we ordered, with the watering supplies and everything, it came out to like 37 something shipped, like 3,700 and some change.
Because we
Which,
decided we would, as much as we don't want to spend money, Kurt also does not want to build racks for the rest of his life either.
You know what? And I had to, you go through that, like, especially like some of us old schoolers who are like, I'm not spending that much money. Are you crazy? I'm not gonna spend that much money. But then it's like, you know what? I don't want to do this shit anymore. I'm not building anything else. I'm not trying to finagle and fasten and figure. I'm tired of figuring shit out. They figured it out. I'm gonna pay for it, have it shipped, put it together, and I don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
My Freedom Breeder racks, like Freedom Breeder VE, they're great. I have no complaints. I'd rather do that shit than what I was doing before.
Right.
right. Yeah, but that's where I was going to go into. The reason why we decided to buy the entire rack is because with just the extra, what is it, 5 levels?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The extra 10 tubs on our Freedom Breeder was, I think it was like $1,800 before shipping.
Yeah, 16 before shipping.
Yeah, and I feel like when the last time we got a quote, shipping was
I think it was
almost
500.
almost 500 pushing 600. So it was feasibly the better choice just to get the bigger,
Yeah.
larger capacity rack.
It's tough because they make everything so well. It's heavy. It's hard. I actually yesterday I was in there, and I had to look on top of the rack, and I just climbed it. I just climbed that shit because
Yep.
it holds, like the wheels are locked. It's not going. It's full of animals, all that shit. I fucking climbed that shit, looked up top, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. And I climbed right the fuck back down. Like, I don't have a lot of room up there. You've seen it, but like I climbed up and I was looking over and I was like, easily this thing could have fallen back and I could have been in a big trouble. But I didn't even think about it because this thing it's so strong, it's so heavy, and I'm like, well, I've seen other people climb these things. I need to look up there, and I don't feel like getting the step stool. If this is a bad idea, we'll find out. And I grabbed it, I looked up over it, and I was like, oh, all right, I can do that. I don't want to have to do it again, but I'm good.
I'm sure there's worse ways to go than death by snake rack, but we don't want that to be the way you go.
No. I don't
No.
want that to be the way you guys find
No.
me. That's fine.
No, definitely not. No, they are built very well, though. Oh. Well, what are you doing for the rest of your day, Angel? What are you doing?
I'm done. I have spent all day in this garage building and fixing and cleaning, and I am done. I haven't eaten because I've been just like focused on getting this shit done. So I'm hungry. I'm gonna go make dinner. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna veg out and just hang out with my family. We're gonna watch movies or some shit tonight.
Nice.
I think there was a big request for hot chocolate, and this is a very good hot chocolate day. So we're gonna hot chocolate the shit out of this because I don't know, but I'm a big hot. I have a whole thing full of like all these different hot chocolates. My wife and her mom always seem to like find these things, these strange. Oh, have you tried this? I'm like, I don't even know. I just listen. You're looking at a Swiss Miss guy. I just fucking drink hot chocolate. I don't know. So now they just buy me all these crazy hot chocolates, and I'm like, I will never have Swiss Miss again. Like this. Now I'm all bougie and shit because
You're a hot chocolate connoisseur.
I'm a connoisseur now. So when I hear it, I'm like, hot chocolate. So I'm just making all the fucking hot chocolate. I got the foamers, and I make homemade whipped cream. I do all that crazy shit because I can't help it.
That sounds
I
amazing.
can't do one thing normal. Like, that's the problem with food. My wife was like, you work in a restaurant all those years, and now you can't fucking cook normal. Every time you cook, it's got to be this thing now. And I'm like, okay, do you want to cook? And she's like, no. You're fine. You can keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. It's fine. It's not a complaint.
It sounds amazing.
So I will definitely, anybody wants some hot chocolate, I got you.
We could set up a thing and you can make us some for January.
I'd make it at the booth if I didn't get complaint. If we weren't allowed to, like, I don't know, the whole food thing at the venue.
We don't know. We don't have to give it to other people. Just
Well, it's a
To be the
speakeasy for
inside-
hot chocolates. You have to know the
inside
secret password to get in, and
It's possible. Be the most delicious hot chocolate you've ever had. I guarantee you.
Morphic Exotic says, "Hey Angel, isn't it vanilla you really like, or was it disco?" I'm drawing a blank.
It is vanilla. It is vanilla.
It's
Disco's
vanilla.
awesome though. Disco is definitely awesome. That's Jose from Edge of Panic. He's the disco king.
Andrew says he now expects some hot chocolate in Puyallup.
No problem, man. Your hot chocolate. You know me though with the coffee. I gotta
excited.
have coffee too. It's more coffee than anything.
Do you know what? We'll have to figure out how to make this all work at one of the expos, and you can make hot chocolate, and then we could buy some All City Sweets
There you go.
baked goods, and you can have hot chocolate and baked goods, and be like heaven.
The one thing though, seriously, I do really want to bring like a coffee maker because we are all hurting in the morning. We're hurting all day long. Saturday's the worst of the hurt, and if I could just have a coffee just behind me, just constant.
Didn't you and I go hunt down really wonderful concession stand coffee?
We did, and it was cheap, and I couldn't believe that it was an actual like the price was great, the coffee was,
And there was
great.
real creamer.
And
That
it
was
wasn't.
weird.
It wasn't like a cup. Like sometimes you go, they give you this little. No, this was like nice 20-ounce at least. I was
Yes.
happy. I was.
It was
I get
impressive.
nervous. I don't like. I didn't want to go there and spend $50 for a bad cup of coffee.
No, not at all. Well, we're going to let you go here in a second so that you can go eat, but we all have to check out Sophisticated Ignorance tonight, and then tomorrow morning is Show Me a Rack, where we have the Herp and Harbins on, and that's a good time because they show off their hognose snakes and their ball pythons. We'll talk about their journey on the 15 Minutes to Lame, and then it's Breeding for the Future tomorrow night with FNA,
yep,
and they have some cool stuff they're going to show off tomorrow night.
yeah, they got a lot of really good stuff. So
You gotta
they're
check
they're
it
really
out.
excited to show it off. So
Yeah, I'm trying to jump on the live, say hi. I forget about them. Like throughout my day, I just forget about what time things are because I'm running around doing a bunch of stuff, and I just forget about. So I catch replays. I'll just go catch a replay and throw a replay on.
Keys
but if
would
I
say that's
can-
fantastic. Just do hashtag replay gang in the
yeah,
comments.
that's
Yeah.
the problem
YouTube
for me.
likes
I
that.
don't comment, but I really should.
You should.
But I
YouTube
go
likes
on and
it.
I'll say hi. I jump on, I say hi, and then oftentimes I'll have one earbud in, and then my phone is over here, and I'm just listening. So if you don't see me type, I'm still there. I'm just like, I'm listening, because I'm just busy doing a bunch of other shit.
Yep. And for those of you just tuning in, you'll have to go back and watch because you'll have to catch when Angel made the comment that almost made me spit out my coffee.
Yeah.
It was a good one. live on forever.
And I got to shout out KG. If you didn't make it through all the way through Hair Down Friday last night, KG was on, and he was dropping a lot of really good knowledge. It was great.
I have to go back and watch the end.
So
Living through Kurt on that one right now.
I haven't finished it yet, so it's gonna be my thing for first thing in the morning when I get to work.
It's good, and that's the thing too. Like I'm working, I just have stuff playing in the background.
Thank you all for hanging out with us on a Saturday, especially a Saturday where we're just hanging out. If you ever have any questions for us, we're always open. Send us a message.
Absolutely.
And
Shoot messages.
Get those sheds tested at shedtesting.com.
Yeah, we've got a ton of them. We're slacking.
We've got to put in our
And-
order.
And I'm sure this is across the board. Not shipping anything out until after the holidays. Once January
Don't do
comes.
it.
Yeah,
that-
don't do it.
And that goes for like 3D stuff too. I just don't
Yep.
want anybody losing anything in the mail because it does happen. So, but yeah, anything you need, just shoot me a message and I'll be shipping in January.
Sounds great. Thank you all for hanging out. And we'll see you next Saturday when we have Will from the Python Portal on. Until then, have a great week.
Don't forget to reach out to Capital City and get your waffle ticket.
Yeah, get your waffle ticket.
He's got a really good snake, so
Enter the
See-
waffle.
enter it. And see you guys next week.
Laters.
Oh, thank goodness.
blood here.
You cry.
The ups and downs, we stay strong. In your circle, that's where we belong. Lifting each other all day long. In this family, we can't go wrong.